Hello, everybody. Today is day 184, and we are reading from 2 Kings chapter 5 through the 8th chapter. Now, these chapters remind us of the supernatural power of the God that we serve. We have the floating iron axe head that the prophet Elijah goes to, demonstrating God's interest even in the minute issues of our life. And then we got the unseen realm of being opened up and the mountains being filled with horses and chariots and fire, and God enabling people to see it, and the hosts of heaven standing ready to defend. And then we got the fleeing Syrian army as God brought confusion, and they hear the heavy sounds of the horses and chariots. There's nothing more than God orchestrating it. This is the God that we serve, and so many times we're guilty, all of us, living far beneath the mighty privileges of God and the resources of heaven that have been extended to us. But Naaman's leprosy is absolutely incredible and demonstrates how God acts and works in the lives of people, and how he's concerned for even people who are not currently a part of his people. Naaman's a part of he's a Syrian army commander, and he's identified, though, in the scriptures as a good man and one whom God has given favor to and victory for in his life. But he has one problem. He has leprosy. He's a leper. And there's an Israelite girl that had been held captive from Israel. And she is a witness for God of the power of God that's demonstrated again and again through the prophet Elisha. And but this story that is shared, her concern for Naaman, his leprosy, and the word gets then all the way to the king of Syria of the power of God demonstrated in the life of a prophet. So he sends a letter. The Syrian king sends a letter to the king of Israel and says, "Hey, listen, I'm sending Naaman, my servant, and I'm asking that you would heal him." Now, the king of Israel panics. In fact, he is absolutely furious that this Syrian king would expect that he could heal somebody. And rather than automatically reverting to the prophet and the power of God, he becomes defensive, and he feels as though that the king of Syria is trying to set him up and try to maneuver something here to start a war or something. He misses entirely that his opportunity to point the Syrian king to the God of Israel. So Elisha hears of this and coming from the king of Israel, and he says to the king of Israel, "Listen, send him to me, and let Naaman come to me," as if to say, "Hey, let's give this to God. Let's let the mighty hand of God show his power to the Syrians." So Naaman goes to Elisha's house, and I'm sure it was a rather humble place, and he comes with all of his army and all of his horsemen and all of his guards, and they arrive there, and he's fully expecting that the mighty man of God is going to come out, and he's going to demonstrate his incredible power and do something, wave his hand, as the Bible says, over his leprosy and be gone. But Elisha, instead of coming out, he sends one of his servants. I have to believe that it was probably one of his least of the servants that he had, and he sends him out with a message, and the simple message is to Naaman, "Hey, listen, go wash in the Jordan 7 times, your leprosy will go." Now Naaman is furious because he has an unmet expectation. He's a high-ranking dignitary, and he's expecting that the prophet, preacher, will come out and will help him, that he would at least pay him a visit. But no, he doesn't. He sends a servant, and so the king of Syria, or Naaman, he walks away angry. He's mad, and he's not going to do it. He's heading back home, and thankfully God used a simple little servant of Naaman's that went to him and said, "Listen, if the prophet had asked you to do something mighty, you would have done it. Why not?" Almost as if to say, "What is there for you to lose? You've heard of the report and the testimony." So Naaman returns, and he humbly follows the orders, And as a result, he goes to the Jordan. He's upset because it's the filthiest river of all the bodies of waters, but he does it. And it's something in this humility, his brokenness, something in his cooperating with, in faith with what the simple instructions were for him. He returns and he's healed, and a mighty miracle takes place, and his leprosy is gone. And he returns to the man of God, Elijah, this time with a different attitude. And he offers Elijah, the prophet, a gift, but Elisha refuses it. But Naaman has a strange request. I don't know if you picked this up or not. He's requesting 2 mule loads of dirt. And why? Because here's what the Bible says: your servant will no longer offer burnt offerings or sacrifices to other gods, but to the Lord. And there's something wrapped up in those 2 mule loads of dirt. It was as close as he could get to the sacred land of Israel. And somehow by being near that, it demonstrates his desire to get as close as he could to the God of Israel, to worship God, to seek God, and to follow after this God. And all of that, I'll tell you, there's more here, but I'm going to end there. I think this is the most remarkable story. Elisha being used by God, Naaman being used by God, all of this coming together to demonstrate the incredible interest that our sovereign God has in the simplest of people, and how he works his wonders, his miracles, and also for all of us, that maybe we've come to the place that we, like Naaman, we don't expect God to move, and we're not willing to humble ourselves and consider how we can be touched by the mighty power of God.